the testimony of Admiral Kimmel, who was Navy head at Pearl Harbor at the time of the Jap sneak attack. The Admiral, who along with General Short was removed from his command, has this to say.
We needed one thing, which our own resources could not make available to us. That vital need was the information available in Washington from the intercepted dispatches, which told when and where Japan would probably strike. I did not get this information. Another course of action then remained. That was to issue an order which would have directed dispositions of the fleet to guard against an attack in Hawaii. The message of June 17, 1940, be on the alert against hostile overseas raid, was such an order. It would have had the same effect in December of 1941 as it had in June of 1940. Such an order was not given. It is my conviction that action by the Navy Department at any one of these significant dates in furnishing me the information from the intercepted messages would have altered the events of December 7, 1941.
Delegates from all over the world gather in London to open the first assembly of the United Nations organization. Representatives of the peace-loving countries attend a reception prior to the meeting. King George VI is present with British Foreign Secretary Bevan and Secretary of State Burns. The informal gathering strikes a note of harmonious accord as England's Prime Minister Attlee joins the group. Central Hall, Westminster is the meeting place for the 51-member nations. The Canadian delegation is confident of a strong world organization dedicated to a peaceful solution of international difficulties. Edward Stettinius confers with the Secretary of State, and Mrs. Eleanor Roosevelt greets a colleague. In addition to setting up the Security Council, the Economic and Social Council, and the International Court, one of the most important tasks before the Assembly is the election of its first president. The voting is close, being divided between Paul-Henri Spaak of Belgium, backed by Britain, and Frigyv Lie of Norway, supported by Russia and the United States. Monsieur Spaak is elected by 28 votes to 23 and takes the chair. The hopes of a world sickened by the miseries of global war are centered in the policies of this group.
Chief of Staff General Eisenhower speaks on the Army question of the day. How soon will GIs be demobilized and home?
Some men who had hoped for discharge by March may have to stay in the Army for 1, 2, or perhaps 3 months longer. That is the worst that can happen. Every man who had any right to expect discharge by June 30th of this year will be home or on his way home by that date. Surely this is not an impossible price we must pay to be worthy of those who gave their lives and to justify the vast treasure which we spent to gain our victory in this dreadful war. My sole purpose, which I am sure you share, is that the Army which did so much to win the victory will be left fit to preserve it. The War Department is determined to reunite every combat veteran with his family at the earliest possible moment and to replace him, where necessary, with a man who has not borne the brunt of the battle.
Near Durham, England, another post-war disaster strikes Britain's railways. The fast London-Newcastle Express crashed into a freight train with a cost of 10 lives and many injured. Sleeping coaches are splintered and piled 20 feet high. The death toll was considered miraculously low, considering that the crowded train carried 400 passengers. The wreck was the third to be visited on British railways within a 7-day period. Soldiers join wrecking crews in probing the tangled wreckage. England's fine safety record suffers a grievous blow.
Beverly May, queen of Miami's 11th annual fishing tournament, is the honor guest as a colorful fleet sets out to sea for the first lap of the 90-day contest, during which 200,000 persons participate. $10,000 is the prize money, and trophies are given each day for the best catch. But the highlight of the tournament is this procession of elaborately decorated craft which opens the proceedings. Never pity the poor fish who gets caught in company like this and amidst beauty like this. Flashing blades and mirror smooth ice is the combination that spells thrills at the annual Silver Skates meet. The lads in the junior finals show plenty of speed and a spill. It's a nip and tuck race in the final lap, with Fred Esser holding the edge as he skims along to the finish and goes across to cop the title. Ah, that was nice skating for anybody's ice. Congratulations, champ. Next on the card is the Intermediate Boys Mile, a 16-lap race that is only for the rugged, for spills play an important part in upsetting form in these races. Plenty fall by the wayside, and at the halfway mark, the field is thinned out. The pace quickens as they jockey for positions, and if it spills you crave, just watch this. This race is closer than any tonight, with Ray Harrington holding his edge by a whisker. He gets across the finish line a half a stride in front and receives a coveted scroll from General Walter Smith. He has his crown on ice.